Good morning. Happy Friday. And as you may be able to tell, I'm working in my San Diego home from my new home office, which is in the middle of a massive remodel. That's right. Mr. King, David King from Little Nessie, is building a home studio in my office here, and we're in the middle of it, and it's a mess. And so I'm using old school, simple technology today, and camera and a basic desktop camera and a microphone, and it may or may not be working. You may not see me or hear me. I don't know, but I apologize for the mess. Hopefully next time, hopefully in a few weeks, you'll see a finished product. But with that said, I want to get onto my Facebook Live today, which is talking about an article from Mike Seminary, who is the Director of Customer Experience at the Stratmore Group, and his recent article, How LOs Are Using Soft Skills to Stay a Step Ahead of AI, was a good article. It was published yesterday. And he always writes really good articles. He has great insights. He kind of heads up the whole CS experience platform at Stratmore. I've seen him speak a couple times, including at the Gathering. Has great data. They have a really good customer experience platform at Stratmore if you're interested in how to optimize your customer's experience. But let's get on to his points of his articles. And the gist is, how much will AI and technology and automation replace different positions in the mortgage industry, including a loan officer, right? And what he implies, essentially, is that the computer, the technology, is going to be better at some things than loan officers. They're probably better at leading a borrower through a thorough questioning, in creating the application, the data in an application, not the advice, not the decision, but the data and the document collection. And so they're going to be more accurate and lead it better. So what role does the loan officer play? And you can disagree with all those comments. That doesn't matter. But what's important is, I really like the points he says, hey, gosh, what role can a loan officer be doing in the future, and what can they maybe improve on right now? Now, here's the thing. This is the first interesting point. Last month, Mike wrote an article about how LO conversations with potential borrowers need to change. And what he said, he goes, a lot of times, and this is going to probably resonate with loan officers out there, a lot of times, their conversations sound like an oral exam given by the DMV, where loan officers robotically walk through a checklist of banal, non-personal questions. We use a lot of acronyms, a lot of jargon, and a lot of times the borrowers just don't understand what we're saying, or we sound very robotic. Here's a really excellent point. If that's how you sound, then you are at risk of being replaced by a robot or by AI. If AI is more human than you when you talk to a borrower, then you're at risk of being replaced by AI. And what we have to do is have to have more human conversations, which means we can't use acronyms, we can't use jargon, we can't just go through a checklist, we cannot be unengaged in the process, or else we'll be replaced by AI. I agree with that. I like that. So, but I love the fact that Mike goes, hey, look, if you're an loan officer and you're still in the business, you got game, you got skills, you have people skills. Leverage those skills, develop them, grow them, and that's going to make you unique and make you in demand. So here's the thing. Here's what it starts with. I'm going to give you two lists from this article, and I put a link to the article in my notes below, and I did a LinkedIn post this morning, which should be posting anytime, with a summary of this article and a link to it. But here's the thing. Here are the 5 non-replaceable soft skills that Mike thinks LOs should be perfecting. Number 1, active listening and personal connection. And he quotes stuff from their Mortgage CX data, that's Stratmore Mortgage CX data. He says 1 in 5 borrowers choose the loan officer they use with based on how well their first conversation goes, based on how well they thought they were listened to, right? And so the first thing, the non-replaceable soft skill, is become a really good listener, be an active listener, do follow-up questions, right? Be interested in the person. Right? That's the first thing. Be interested in the person. That's human. AI can't do that. 2 is setting and revising expectations. And here he quotes more Stratmore data from the Mortgage CX platform. Shows that NPS, that's your score, drops by 42 points when you don't meet expectations, right? But what he says is that, and that's not uniquely human. What's uniquely human is that when there's a mistake or a problem or expectations need to be adjusted, the willingness to sincerely and authentically apologize makes you very human, and it is a soft skill. And so there's like a bedside manner to setting expectations and managing them and then addressing them when they get off, right? And that's something, that nuance is human, something that AI can't do. So second is setting and revising expectations. Third, and this is magic, and this one thing, and it's going to be repeated in the next section I go through, this one thing is worth, this whole article. And number 3, the skill you got to perfect is emotional check-ins, right? And he's going to give a practical way to do this later on in the article, but this resonates with me so much. Imagine getting a question from a robot, how are you feeling about everything? Right? It would be offensive. If I was, and I don't mind using AI voice bots, I'd actually probably prefer them over humans when I'm doing other things out there in the world. But if it asked me how I was feeling, I would be offended. But if a human asked me how I was feeling, right, I would feel connected. And that emotional check-in differentiates us from a machine, right? And so we need to make sure that we're using empathy, and we need to make sure that we're showing that we authentically care about people and that we're asking questions, right? And that caring creates loyalty, and a machine can't care. Only a human can care. So emotional check-ins, number 3. Number 4 is expediting requests. This is really interesting, and I want to put it as expediting requests. I know that's why he labeled it, but it's more understanding needs, right? There's a lot of nuance in how people communicate needs. I'm using needs instead of requests, right? And in this paragraph, Mike Seminary quotes Malcolm Gladwell from Blink, and what Malcolm Gladwell calls it called thin slicing. Thin slicing is when we can read through all sorts of various cues that human gives us. It's their body language, their voice inflection, it's the tone of their voice. It's thin. We can thin slice to interpret all that, where a computer can't. But by the way, a computer is getting better at this, but a computer can't. There's a lot of nuance to that, and that's something that we can do better, and we have to perfect that skill. The last thing, by the way, is building trust. And here's the thing, each person has a different set of values, a different set of needs. A computer is just going to use an algorithm, but they can say, hey, no, this person needs more empathy, this person needs more care, this person needs more certainty. It can't figure that out. And in building trust, the one thing is we lose trust when we are loose in our execution, right? When we ask for the same document twice, or if we give an update that's false, or if we miss a deadline, right? If we don't understand what we're saying, or we make stuff up, we lose trust. And as humans, we can avoid doing that, but sometimes AI does it accidentally. So the 5 things we need to just be perfecting: active listening and personal connection is 1, setting and revising expectations is 2, emotional check-ins is 3, expediting requests is 4, and building trust is 5. But and he puts it all together at the end, and he does a section called prescription. And he comes up with 3 practical ideas for perfecting your soft skills. All right, so here we go. The rule of 3. Remember, what can make you differentiate you from a computer, from technology? What can make you uniquely human and therefore more valuable? And so these are the 3 ideas. Rule of 3. So next time you take an application, make sure you ask 3 things. 1, why are you purchasing a house? 2, what does a house mean to them personally? And 3, what are their long-term goals? Like, connect with them as a human. That's what's going to make us more valuable in the future. It makes total sense, right? He goes, for extra credit, actually find out 3 personal things about the clients. These are things that, by the way, AI could do, but you wouldn't trust it to care, right? It can ask me the questions, but I'm not going to believe that it cares. Where if a human asks me the question, I believe we have a connection and that they care. So the rule 3 is the first thing to start, the practical idea to deploy. The second one, and this is one I referred to early, is all the feels. And that is repeatedly ask them how they feel about everything through the process. Because only a human can ask a human that. How do you feel about everything? Now, a machine can, but a machine won't be able to feel what they feel. It'll try to interpret words using a predictive, a logarithm. But how are you feeling about everything? How's this going? Is this meeting, are you comfortable? Are you excited? Are you worried? And all this stuff is saying, if you want to outdo a computer, you have to be human, but you have to be human by slowing down, right? The computer technology is all about speed, faster. We can't outspeed technology. So what we have to do is the exact opposite, is go slow and be human. All right, so make sure you ask, how are you feeling about everything? Always do that. We always do that, because technology can't do that. The last thing is quick responses. And quick responses to perceived needs, right? Because sometimes a computer can't perceive what they need, how they should be responding. But here's what's interesting. He quotes Strathmore Secret Shopping data, and in their secret shopping surveys, the program finds that about 40% of interactions, the borrower was unsatisfied in that the loan officer did not follow up as they said they would. Of course, we got to follow up, right? Follow up. We got to follow up not just what's on our checklist, but follow up what we perceive the needs of our borrowers to be. So there you go. The 3 practical ideas. Rule 3, that is just ask them personal questions. Second one, ask them how they feel. And the third one is having ridiculously good follow-up to what we know and perceive their needs to be. It's a good article. Mike did a great job. He always writes good articles. He has great data. I suggest you check it out going into the weekend. You can click on the link below. You can check out my LinkedIn. I hope you like that. I'm sorry about the mess behind me. I hope you'll be able to see this. I hope you're able to hear me, because who knows if any of this is working. And with that, have a great day. Have a good end of your week. I hope you have a great weekend. I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks. Bye.